Assalamu alaikum everyone. Some people have requested from me to make a video response to the accusation that we have been unfaithful in our transmission of information. The accusation that we misquoted, we mistranslated, we twisted things, and we didn't understand what was being said. So I would like to respond to that accusation in a very clear and concise manner. I don't really want to speak too much. I want to basically present what their scholars are saying. And I want the people to see clearly with the Arabic in front of you and with a clear English translation, with commentary, what is being said, not by me, but by their scholars. So, before I do that, it was claimed that I misquoted al-Dhahabi. I didn't understand what al-Dhahabi was saying. I hid things and that I basically made tadlis. And I lied. So let us go to what al-Dhahabi says in his book. In his Siyar al-Nubala, page 290, volume 12. Here he talks about the different groups and their opinions on the status of the Quran. Is the Quran originated? Is it created? Is it eternal? These are the different groups which have existed, and he talks about each and every one of them. Almost all of them. So for the first one, let's see. He says, and the school of thought among the Salaf is that the recited Quran is the speech of Allah, not created. So the school of thought for the Salaf, the early Salaf, is that the Quran is not created. Is not created. So he talks about the second group. What does he say? The second group. What do they believe? He says, and the school of thought among the Mu'tazila is that the Quran is created and that it is the speech of God. And he goes on about how they try to refute the fact, that you can't say that Jesus is the Word of God and at the same time say that Jesus is, that the Word of God is eternal. So that way you'd be calling Jesus eternal. Basically what we talked about before. The third group. What does he state? He says, and the school of thought for Dawood al-Zahiri and his group, i.e., the group that Ahmed considers to be from the innovators. What did they say? They said that it is the speech of Allah, the Quran is the speech of Allah, and that it is originated, while at the same time saying it is not created. Who else says that? Who else is stating this? The group that we are debating. The exact same thing that the sect of al-Zahiri believes in is the exact same thing which these people are saying. The exact same thing that they believe in. And what's funny is that Ahmed himself considered these people from the innovators. He considered these people from those who innovate, from those who are stating something that is incorrect. How did this person respond? He stated that Ahmed, when he stated muhdath, he was talking about what the Mu'tazila meant. He's so confused, and he doesn't know what to read and where to read and how, what to quote and where to quote and how to quote, that he actually affirmed what we were stating the whole time. What did the Mu'tazila say about this word muhdath? How did the Mu'tazila mean by this word? What did they mean by this word? They stated that what we mean by muhdath is that the Quran at one point did not exist, and at another point began to exist. This is what Ahmed was refuting. And you yourself, in your ignorance, and in your arrogance, and in your rush to refute us, you have affirmed what we're stating ourselves. You have affirmed what we were stating. So your excuse that, it's not in its context, your attempt to play that game has gone back and hit you. You have proven what we have stated. So what about the fourth group? Who is the fourth group? And as for the others from the Hanabila, who are the others? From the Salaf, from the Hanabila, or from now? He's talking in the general sense. And as for the others from the Hanbali school, and other than them, they state that it is the eternal speech of God, not originated, not muhdath, and not created. And they state, if you say that it is created, you are saying that it is. If you say that it is not created, then you are stating that it is eternal. So if you, according to the Hanbali school, the Hanabila, if you state the Quran is not created, you are saying that it is eternal. So according to the Hanabila, every time Ahmed stated the Quran is not created, he was stating the Quran is eternal. This is what the Hanbalis believe. This is the school of Ahmed. These are the followers of Ahmed, the Hanabila. This is from Al-Dhahabi. This is what he's stating about them. So I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know how to explain it to you even more. So no, I didn't misquote Al-Dhahabi at all. Let's go to where he claims I did. And let's read together. Bismillah. Okay. And a group said that the Quran is originated, such as Dawood al-Zahiri. Who? And what? Dawood al-Zahiri stated that the Quran is muhdath, originated, and those who followed him. So Ahmed considered them from Ahl al-Bid'ah. Ahmed said that they are people of Bid'ah. وَأَنْكَرَ ذَلِكَ, and he rejected that from them. He rejected it. So like I said before, if you state that the Quran is originated, Ahmed considers you from the people of Bid'ah. This person, this ignorant person in the video, with all due respect, I don't feel like you should be speaking on this topic, nor opening the books and talking about knowledge. He states that Ahmed meant what the Mu'tazila meant by the word muhdath. This is what we're stating. This is exactly what we are stating. Ahmed is refuting the Mu'tazila. Ahmed is saying that the Mu'tazila are wrong. What did the Mu'tazila state when they said the Quran is muhdath? They stated that at one point it didn't exist, i.e. the Quran didn't exist, and at another point it began to exist. So no, my friend, I did not take it out of context. I didn't take it out of context at all. You are the one who is not understanding what's being said. By the way, why didn't you translate this into English when you were reading this? Why the tadlis? Why the lying? Why the hiding? Why didn't you clearly state what Ahmed stated? Here, Ahmed considered those who state that the Quran is muhdath are from the people of Bid'ah. Why didn't you state that? What else does Ahmed say? And he considered those who claim that the Quran is muhdath from people of Bid'ah. Here as well. What else? Let's go down more. Where he claims that the Salaf never used the word eternal. Therefore, they didn't believe it was eternal. He didn't even understand what was being read or said. What does Dhahabi say? He says, and there has not come from him, meaning Ahmed, nor from the Salaf the saying that the Quran is eternal, nor did they mouth this word, mouth it or sound it out or phrase it. Why? Is it because they didn't believe the Quran is eternal, or is it because it is a new terminology that they didn't want to use? What does Al-Dhahabi say? He says our word or our statement of eternal is from the newly fabricated terminologies. This is what he's stating. He's not stating that this wasn't the belief of the Hanabila. As I clearly shown before, this was the belief of the Hanabila. The same way that jism, the word jism, body, was not used by the Salaf because it was a new term, is the same thing here. The Hanabila don't believe, according to you, that Allah is a jism, but they never stated that. Why? Ibn Taymiyyah says why. He says because this word jism, body, was never used by the early Salaf. It was never used by Ahmed in order to refute them. He says this is a newly fabricated term, or actually, he may have said that about the Prophet ﷺ. He said that the Prophet ﷺ never used this word jism, that Allah is not a jism. Either or, the Prophet is better than Ahmad, anyways, ﷺ. So that would be an even stronger argument against them. If that was the case. But either or, either one is correct. What else we have? So that is answered. The first quote is answered thoroughly, I believe. Let's go to the second quote where he stated that I made a mistake, that I didn't understand what was being said. Let's go to what he said. He says that I misquoted, and that Ahmad wasn't the one talking, Al-Jahm was the one talking, and Ahmad was quoting him. Do you not know what a quote is? This is where the speech of Ahmad begins. This is where the speech of Ahmad begins. This is not Al-Jahm talking. This is Ahmad talking. فَزَعَمَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ قَالَ الْقُرْآنِ. Who is imagining? Who is claiming? Al-Jahm. I don't know. Maybe you read Arabic but you don't understand what you're reading. But when someone says فَزَعَمَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ قَالَ الْقُرْآنِ مُحْدَث, it means that they alleged or they claimed. So it's not Al-Jahm talking. It's Ahmad who was talking. What did Ahmad say? فَزَعَمَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ قَالَ لِلْقُرْآنِ مُحْدَث وَكُلْ مُحْدَث مَخْلُوق. So Al-Jahm imagined or alleged or claimed falsely that the Quran is muhdath from this verse. And Ahmad responds by saying that he imagines this, and then what does he say? He says he tries to use the argument that because it's originated, it's created. وَكُلُّ مُحْدَث مَخْلُوق. So Ahmad is clearly this is a statement of refutation. This is a statement of refutation against Al-Jahm. Where's my proof for that? Where's my proof that Ahmad is not just quoting him, he's actually refuting him by saying this statement, and that Ahmad doesn't believe the Quran is muhdath? Where's my proof? Okay, let's go to his book, excerpt from his book, where he clearly says that. This is in his book. He clarifies what he meant. He clarifies. He said, and as for the dhikr of Allah, if it is in isolation, i.e. in and of itself, then it is not labeled as originated. So the words of Allah in and of itself is not muhdath. It is not originated. What Ahmad is saying here is that what Allah means by originated is that the revelation that came down brand new to the Prophet ﷺ. This is what is meant. That what's muhdath is the tanzil, not the actual dhikr of Allah. And where's my proof for that? This is from Ibn Kathir in his book, where what is Ibn Kathir? Ibn Kathir is explaining the words of Ahmad. What does Ibn Kathir say? He says that the revelation to us is what is originated, i.e. muhdath. Not that the dhikr of Allah itself is originated. As you guys can see in the Arabic very clearly, this is what Ahmad meant when he was refuting Al-Jahm, because he didn't want Al-Jahm to use the argument that if you say the Quran is originated, you're saying the Quran is created. And that is a statement of refutation. It's not just me misquoting anyone. So you're clearly wrong there. So what else? Number 3, he says that I made tadlis, I mixed up the words, I rearranged them. Makhluq and muhdath from Ad-Darimi, I misquoted him. In fact, in my mind, actually, when I was writing this down into English, I was not thinking to myself, okay, you know what, I'm gonna rearrange these words here in order to disprove these guys. No, Habibi, I don't think like you. I don't operate like that. In my mind, there's no difference between saying makhluk is muhdath and muhdath is makhluk in context of what you believe. I do not believe that. And where's my proof for that? Well, let's look at what Al-Ash'ari says in his maqalat. He says, and the people of knowledge, the people of affirmation, the scholars, have agreed that the meaning of created is something being created. Makhluq is the same meaning as muhdath. And the meaning of muhdath is the same meaning as makhluq. He says that there is no difference between both words. They both mean the same thing. What does Ibn Hajar say? The Amir al-Mu'mineen. Ibn Hajar, the Amir al-Mu'mineen in the sciences of hadith from the Sunni sect. What does he state? He said there is no difference between something being created and something being originated. There is no difference. Not intellectually, nor textually, nor in common usage. This is Ibn Hajar. And here's the reference, his famous book, page 499, volume 13. What else can we say to these people, honestly? What else can we say to these people? You'll notice that he also completely ignored everything that we had much more references. He completely ignored it. Dhahabi's book, page 150, with the Sahih narration from Al-Harith. Al-Harith states, whoever thinks or imagines or alleges or claims that the Quran is originated, then he has committed kufr. Originated how? What does he mean here? He means by what the Mu'tazila meant when they stated that the Quran had a beginning. It had a beginning in time. This is what he's stating. And then Fudayl said, I affirm. Fudayl is listening to Al-Harith. Both of these scholars are from the Salaf. Al-Harith ibn Umair and Fudayl. They're both from the Salaf. They're actually one of the biggest Salafi scholars. One of the biggest ulama from the Salaf, as-Salihin. This is what the Sunnis claim. What about Waqi'? What does he say? In the book by Abdullah bin Ahmad, Kitab al-Sunnah, page 115, he says, whoever imagines or thinks or claims or alleges that the Quran is created, then he has imagined, claims, alleges, or thinks that the Quran is originated. And whoever imagines that the Quran is originated, then he has committed kufr. And the researcher of the book says it is authentic. What book am I talking about? This is the book that I'm using. Ladies and gentlemen, there is an entire book from the Sunni scholars about this. This is the book called Is the Quran Eternal or Originated, in the madhab of Ahl al-Hadith and the Hanabila, and the school of thought of the Hanbalis and the Ahl al-Hadith. This is what they state. This is from a Shafi'i scholar. This is not from a Shia. This is from your books. This is from your own books. This is not from us. There's much more references here. Al-Laka'i, he said that I misunderstood Al-Laka'i. He said that I didn't understand what he was saying. Look what he states. He completely ignored this quote. Why didn't you mention this quote? Why didn't you mention this quote? Why didn't you say fully what he was stating? You didn't. You made tadlis. Al-Laka'i, he says, contextually, what is narrated from the Prophet is what points to the Quran being from the attributes of Allah and eternal. What else can I say? What else can I say? This is from Ibn Abi al-Izza al-Hanafi in his Sharh al-Tahawiyya, page 188. He says that, what does he state? He said that I misunderstood what he was stating. He states clearly that the nature of Allah's speech is eternal. And then this confused person stated, this is exactly what we believe. He doesn't understand that if you state that something's nature is eternal, you're stating that that thing is eternal. He's stating that the nature of Allah's speech is eternal. The speech itself is eternal. Not the nature of Allah, not the fact that He's a mutakallim eternally. He's saying that the nature of Allah's speech, kalamullah, is eternal. And then he quotes Abu Hanifa. He quotes him. Look what he states. He says the kalam of Allah, when He spoke to Musa with speech which was from His attributes. And all of His attributes of the essence are eternal. Think about this. He's saying that the kalam of Allah are from the attributes of Allah, and all His attributes are eternal. What did Ahmad said? What did he state? Let's go back to this guy who claimed that I didn't understand what I was reading. What does Ahmad say? وَإِنَّهُ مِنْ عِلْمِ اللَّهِ. and it is from the knowledge of God. And according to the Hanabila, the knowledge of God is a part of His attributes, and His attributes are eternal when it comes to the attributes of the essence. So there's nothing really else to be said. I think I've pretty much shown how these people twist and make tadlis and jump left and right. Let's see how much time we have. I don't want to be speaking for too long, making this video too long. I just want to make a quick commentary at the end of this video before I close. I want to state that I really believe that these series have been a success for us. I believe that a lot of people are starting to see the position of the Shia better, and they are starting to see how the opposition is unable to answer any points that are brought to them. They never responded to the fact that, your scholars claim that God sits in a chair, God has fingers, God has hands, God runs, God jogs, God has a shadow, God forgets. They never responded to this. Every video they make, Ash'aris, Maturidis, Mu'tazila, this and that, they're running away from the topic. They don't want to address what we've stated. And what's funny is that in the video, he admits that the Ash'a'ira claim the Quran is eternal. Okay then, why are you arguing and debating us then? This is the orthodox school. This is the school which has, amongst the ulama, that is, because most of the followers of the Sunni sect don't really get into these matters of, the details of, is the Quran created, blah, blah, blah. So, when we say the majority, we're talking about the scholars of the Sunnis. So, with that, I'm going to close the recording. God bless everyone. May God remove arrogance and ignorance from our hearts and lead us to the right way, inshallah. We want to thank you guys for staying tuned to our videos and following us and giving us support and refuting these people. Anyways, God bless and assalamu alaikum.